Hey everyone, this is Corinne Lafont, your favorite radio host, your only radio host, of course, and favorite girl, broadcasting to you from Trinidad and Tobago once again on Between the Lines. Oh my God, I'm so thankful to be here. You know, I always start my show being thankful. I am just thankful to be alive, to see another day. The weather is a bit overcast, but I am so thankful it is overcast and that I can see and experience and feel that. I woke up this morning with just, I don't know, a burst of energy, something, flowed through me that just made me feel so great. I started my praise and worship, which even sent me deeper into just gratitude. I am just super excited. I don't know, but I'm going with it. I'm just super excited. And I'm even more super excited because I have this handsome man here with me today. Yes. And you may remember him from the Father's Day series I did with those couple of men. I'm trying to remember. I think it was like about four men I had on that series. Saluting Dads, June 19th. Really, really awesome. And I'll have you know, I sent out another ad just yesterday, because I've had such a good response from it that, I'm decided I'm not only doing it for Father's Day, but I'm doing it right throughout the year. So it's about men, praising the men, getting the men to come out and talk, and the whole perception, this whole negativity is, it's really ridiculous. So if I'm the only woman praising the men, that might bring some nice men into my life too. So probably there's a good motive behind that. I don't know. But anyway, so look out for that ad. And so I have with me, as I said, Eric G. Reed. He decided to come on my show again, as most of my guests. They just come on my show over and over and over. This is really awesome. It tells me I'm doing something good, and I'm grateful to be able to offer such a service, to people out there. Yeah, maybe it's my calling. Let's see where it goes. So let me tell you a quick bit about Eric, just in case you missed him the last time on Father's Day. So Eric G. Reed considers himself a catalyst of change in people's lives and within business structures. He loves coaching because he's passionate about helping people create their success life. What a short bio. We get straight to the point. So welcome, Eric G. Reed, to Between the Lines once again.
Well, thank you. And I don't know how any man could resist your voice, your energy, your smile, your presence. I mean, I got to tell you, when I get my call from my island girl, she asks me to talk. I'm like, I am there.
I love you, Eric. I love you. I tell you, I love you. And it is true. It is, and I'm not saying this, the ego probably stepping in here. I am not saying this, because of my ego, but I have had that response all the time. How can you resist the voice, the energy, the energy and my smile, those three things, my voice, the energy and the smile.
Well, I know that, good shoes attract women. Your voice, your energy, your smile attracts great men and leaders and people of influence. So keep on smiling, keep on laughing, keep on dancing for us, please.
Yeah, but the thing is, I've been attracting some really toxic men, and I'm trying to get rid of their behinds. So those are the men that I'm attracting because they are the opposite of me on the scale, and they just love me to just suck me dry. Yeah, those energy vampires. I've been attracting those type of men, and I'm on a discovery. I discovered that recently, and when I look within my life, Eric, I've realized that, oh my God, most if not all of them were like that. And so
my question would be, as a coach, because I love the fact that you said I am attracting. Mm-hmm. So you understand that you're responsible for the people that are brought into your life.
Of course, I can't blame anybody else. I can't blame you.
So what is the order that you're placing into the universe that is bringing that into existence?
Well, what I've discovered, and this has turned into your interview more than mine, but that's okay, I'm working with it. What I have discovered is that there are things within me that are unhealed, that I am missing, that I am seeking. And and I've discovered it is not only just a sidestep from me. in looking around me and in people and even in marriages, relationships, people are seeking um, things from, that they want in themselves from other people. So this whole half and half crap, you know, or three quarter, the thing that they're missing, they're looking for somebody to fill it. So for example, they're seeking happiness in other people and external things and people to make them happy when it is already within you. So what I'm working on and I'm encouraging people to do is to be whole. Be whole yourself. Yeah?
Exactly. Because there's two things in that message.
Mm-hmm.
One, God made you complete. So walking around saying,
But we
I
don't know
need so
that.
and so to
But we don't know
complete.
that. We
And
hear that. We hear that, Eric. We hear that, but we don't believe that.
and that's where doing the awareness that you're doing now that says, wait a minute, I am complete. If I don't believe it, if I can't believe it,
Yeah.
then intellectually I will trust it because a person of faith, I've been written. And that's where I rely on the law of reflection. I look out and there are not trees that only grow halfway, or one side bears fruit and the other side doesn't, unless there's damage and scar and things like that. So if God can make a tree produce fruit on both sides and completely and fully come into bloom, why am I the exception of being incomplete? Like, really? Like, I'm the one thing in the entire universe that's incomplete? That doesn't make sense. So obviously, it's true that I am complete. Now my process has to be recognizing that in me. And as soon as I begin to step in my full potential, my full awareness, my fullness, then I will not attract people to fill the gaps or to, in some cases, and I see this in women and men, but mainly women, because of women's nature, that they would rather attract somebody that affirms the broken than affirms the blessed.
Yes.
That they would rather have somebody validate that they're not enough, big enough, smart enough, tall enough, rich, whatever, that they look for validation of what's wrong instead of what's right. And that's why the negative men show up and it's like, hey, I'm just telling you what you told me. It's just showing up on the outside, not on the inside this time. And so when you can start to recognize the blessed, when you can start to recognize the fullness, when you can start to really see the gold and focus on that, then you'll begin to see the men that want to celebrate the gold instead of celebrate the broken.
But the thing about, I love that analogy with the tree, because nobody thinks about it that way. And I mean, your years of coaching and being an awakened person has led you to that point. And I mentioned the word awaken because I know, and I've noticed it even before realizing that I'm seeking outside myself, that a lot of people are walking dead. I used to sit and just watch. I'm an observer. And I sit and I'm like, something is wrong. And I used to, I think over the years, hints have been dropped along the lines for me to work on myself, to realize things. So I realize I have certain qualities in me that I used to say, why am I feeling this way? So for example, I've recognized I'm a super empath. I would walk into a room and I would feel everything in that damn room. I know everything is going. I'm like, what the hell? Somebody would tell me something, their problems, and I would start bawling. I mean, literally bawling. They're bawling. I'm like, in my mind, I'm saying, why are you bawling, Corinne? This is not your problem. But I am in tears.
Because though what they're saying isn't your situation, your car doesn't have flat tires, but what you recognize is the pain of either helplessness or loss of control or fear of finances, that story of what they're going through relates to you. And so because you have those same fears, those same doubts, those same pains, it's not the story that's moving, but your heart is hearing their heart and you're being pulled into their emotion because that emotion you can hear, you can understand. It's like a secret language, Some people speak French or Spanish or German or Ghana or whatever. If you know that language, you can hear that story. And so when people walk up to you and they tell of their pain or their problems, because you know that story internally, you can hear it at a different level.
Yeah.
And if you haven't that story in yourself, then it even becomes more emotional and bigger to you.
But you don't even realize you have that story within yourself, that you feel it. But I relate, and I see, you know, like I've been told, I'm a sponge in my readings and discovery and on my journey. I'm like a sponge. So I'm taking in. So what I've realized now is that no way, I need to start setting boundaries. You know, and I started doing that without even realizing, but more now, I am setting strict boundaries with everyone. I mean, strict boundaries with everyone and everything. Family, friends. I even started deleting people, blocking, you know, and it doesn't take anything on my phone, on anything. And I'm like, to hell with you, you know, really.
Exactly. And that's where when I teach and I coach, I talk about walls and gates. And that in the middle is our kingdom, in the middle is our heart, in the middle is our life, and that we need walls and gates. And there's nothing wrong with walls and there's nothing wrong with gates. But oddly enough, when you put up a wall and gate combination, you don't start with the gate, you start with the walls, and then you decide where the openings need to be so that you can guard those gates. And so when you're coming through awareness, when you're coming through transformation, yeah, you need those walls. And you're like, you know what? I'm not going to be around these kind of people. I'm not going to listen to this kind of language. I'm not going to allow these people to come up to my gate and come through freely. I'm putting somebody or something at the gate to guard it, because in the middle is me, in the middle is my heart, in the middle is my dream, in the middle is my family, whatever it is. And it's my responsibility to guard the gate.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I build just offensive gates, then I cannot successfully do that.
Yeah, yeah. It's really, I mean, it's really a journey. And I want to come back to the point about the marriages and stuff. And just before you came on, it rolled around in my mind again. And I'm saying, you know, people go to marriage counseling, they you know, they're in church, they get married, whatever it is. And, you know, there's so many people out there saying, communication is your problem. Communication, you know, or you guys are not compromising. You need to compromise. And I'm saying to myself, all that is crap. It is not I'm like, what the hell are you doing at those? I could tell you what the ass is going on. You want somebody to fulfill your need for you. It is not a matter of communication or any of that shit, or his money is more than yours, or your money more than his, or she's more masculine and taking the lead. There's nothing to do with that. It's about you not being whole and him not being whole. And you expected this man to make you happy. You expected this woman to fulfill certain needs. And people just have this whole host of expectations, Eric. It's amazing. People are expecting, and I'm like, what do you mean expect? I have no expectation. I'm probably the only one on this earth that have no expectations. I am just going with the flow. Like some people say, what did you expect? I'm like, nothing. However it go, I just go with it. And they're like, what do you mean? So it makes me look like I'm goalless. I have no ambition. It's not that. It's just that I don't believe in being disappointed, and I'm not going to put that pressure on someone to feel that they need to meet that need.
I think when we understand what we understand what expectation is. So expectation is me placing my needs on you.
Yes.
And so when I come to you from a place of neediness, and I say, well, you need to, I'm placing my needs. I expect you to carry my luggage. I expect you, whatever it is. When I put it on you, I was not invited by you to say, oh, here, let me take that from you.
Exactly.
Instead, I dump it.
Exactly.
And then I expect you to rise up into it. And it's like, hey, I didn't know you were bringing all this luggage. I would never, like all of a sudden it's like, well, if you had told me you needed this from me, I could have been better prepared to receive it, or at least advise you I'm not the guy that should be getting this stuff dumped on. But we walk through life dropping these expectations on everybody, saying, I need you to do this and this and this and this, without knowing even if they're capable
exactly
of following through. And that's the equivalent of me looking at my 9-year-old son and asking him to pay the mortgage. It's like, that's ridiculous.
And then in looking at some some videos, I've learned about these invisible contracts that we
Oh.
sign. And it happens in our culture. It is perpetuated, Eric, in our culture. So like I'm in the Caribbean, and I'm sure it happens everywhere. And I'm mixed with Indian and Black. And so it happens especially in the Indian community. And in the video, I talk about the Asian community. And I see it here because where I live, it's Indians, predominantly Indians, and it's Chinese as well. So I grew up seeing and knowing. So I know about this culture. I don't have to go to China to know. I live in the community. And our training here, especially in the Caribbean, and I guess it happens in the States, everywhere in the world, is that, okay, I sacrifice for you, children. I sacrifice, and there are things that I didn't get, and I'm making sure that you get it. And so you owe my ass. You owe me. When I get older, you're supposed to take care of me, right? You're supposed to take care of me and give me money every month and all these things. And I'm like, when I said to my mother one day, I said, hold on, I didn't ask you to bring me here. I don't remember that. I didn't ask you to bring me here. I'm not obligated to you. Because she was telling me my son isn't doing what and what. And I'm like, it doesn't matter what he does. It's his life. My responsibility is to prepare him to be a good citizen and to give him the tools to survive in society. I am not expecting him to take care of me. I am supposed to be putting things in place to take care of myself without him. Now, if he decides he wants to help me, that's fine. I can say, son, thank you for the help. I really appreciate it. If he decides, but if he doesn't, what am I supposed to do? Curse him to death and send him to hell? No. If he doesn't, that's his thing. And I'm not even going to call karma on his ass, even though I might, but I may not call karma on him. But whatever happens, that's his own doing if he doesn't want to do. But it is not an obligation. In other words, that invisible contract.
I think culturally, genderly, economically, there's a million invisible contracts or expectations. As a wife, you're supposed to do this. As a woman of color, you're never supposed to want that. As a son, you're supposed to rise up and do this. And those cultural or economic or social or, contracts or expectation are so generationally deep and unchallenged that we take them on and then we fight against them all our life. And then when our parents die, there's this celebration because the contract is finally canceled.
Finally over. That's what you think. I'll tell you, that's what you think. You think it's canceled, but their voice is still perpetuating in your damn head. And you realize that you are carrying out the same thing. I tell you, I remember sitting down in Jamaica at the dining table one time, and I caught myself with my hand positioned like my mother, sitting at the table. The way how I was eating, I suddenly just became aware of how I was eating, the way my hand was, and the way I was responding. I'm like, shit, I'm becoming my mother. This kind of, I was like, hell no, this is not happening. This is not happening. And I'm not saying that to make it seem like my mother is a bad person, whatever it is. I'm just saying I became aware of it. And it is not something that I want to continue or want to have. It's not one of the characteristics that I want to carry on. And coming back to the whole cultural thing and the generational, the parents, if their parents are doctors, parents of teachers, parents of lawyers, it's expected you must carry that on, whether you like it or not. The children must become lawyers, doctors, teachers, whatever it may be. And you don't have a say. If you want to be a street sweeper, hello, clearly, you are going to be kicked out of the family and disowned.
I have seen that, and I have seen the negative impact in people because, as you said, mom was a doctor and dad was a lawyer, and they came over. They're the first generation. Look at this, they have like this glowing noise that comes around them because they've exceeded so much. And you're like, well, I want to be an artist. And they're like, you can't be an artist because We're doctors and lawyers and Indian chiefs. You
right?
cannot be one of anything else. And the child rebels against themselves and their nature and their giftedness and all that they were designed and ordainedly put on this earth to be, to finish that story of their parents or their grandparents, or especially in certain cultures where it's like, you don't understand the sacrifice your mother made for you to be here. And I'm like, I understand the sacrifice, but when is the debt paid? Will you please tell me when the debt is paid? Because I am not going to carry grandma's debt for the next 30 generations just because you told me to. Now, if I want to honor my grandmother and my grandfather and my uncle and my auntie and all the people that sacrificed so I could go to law school, if I want to, then it is more honorable for me to give from my heart than out of obligation.
Wow.
And so I teach that to my son. I'm like, I expect certain things of you because you're a human being on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain things I want from you because it's my desire as your dad, but it's up to you to figure out if it fits.
Yeah. And I mean, I love that question. Just listening to you make that statement that, when is the debt paid, from my mother, my grandfather, the uncle, and you start calling out all the relatives. That is so heavy. When you start to call out all the people who sacrificed, I am like, damn, what a heavy contract that is. When is it? I probably mightn't even survive that. I might die, and in my dying, my transition, I'm still paying the debt. Or the children that I may have still paying the debt.
And I think it speaks to success, because what happens is as you gain more success, more independence, that contract seems to grow in size and weight. Well, because you're more successful than your sister, because you've accomplished more than your brother, you have a greater portion of this contract to fill. It's like, so you're telling me the more that I do, the more that I have to give? Well, I'm going to stop doing because I don't want to keep on giving.
So it's never ending.
No, and I think it's a responsibility to honor people and their commitment and their sacrifice and their giftedness to our lives. But I think it's also important that we turn and go, look, I just need to know, when is this debt paid? As a person of faith, I was told that it all happened back on the cross, but Mom, you seem to carry it a little bit further. Like, at what moment can you say, you know what, the debt is paid?
They can't answer that, Eric. Eric, nobody's could answer that. If I were to come to you as I'm the daughter, you're the father, and I say, so Dad, when is that debt going to be paid? Really? What would be your answer, Dad? What would be your answer, Eric, to me? What are you going to say? You're going to say to me, okay, today is September 7th, 2018. I would say probably about forever.
What I would say, and what I would love every parent to say, is when I see you pay it forward, we're good.
When you see me pay it forward,
we're good. So when I know that what I gave up for you to go up, you're willing to do for somebody else, then I'm done. My job is finished.
It doesn't matter what form it takes.
No, as long as I know that you understand that for you to get what you want, it required somebody else. And if you develop an awareness of the world around you that says, you know what, somebody needs me, I will help them. I will give up something of me for them to go up, then I'm done. Then I'm like, you know what? You paid it forward. Because if you're always paying it back, it goes nowhere.
Yeah.
But if you're paying it forward, then I know that it's going somewhere into the universe that's beyond me, and I just created a legacy without having to be involved.
Beautiful. I'm going to clap that. I'm going to clap that. Paying it, I'm going to clap that. Eric, oh my God, why can't you be next to me? I would hug and kiss you.
Whoa, with the island smile.
I'm telling you, and I give great hugs and great kisses. Listen, paying it back. I think that, wow, that let me kind of sit and marinate in that. If you keep paying it back, it is not helping you, but paying it forward. Oh, I want people to listen to this episode. Oh, Jesus, that is so significant, Eric. That is so significant, because you're not telling me I have a debt to keep paying off, and it's like there's a recurring amount and it's never getting paid off. It's that
image of filling a bucket from the top when it has a hole in the bottom.
Yeah.
It's never going to be finished. You're going to pull the water out of the bottom and dump it back in the top and keep doing that. And you're going to lose stuff along the way. But if you took from the top of a well-filled bucket and passed it to somebody else and led them to what they needed, oh, think of the legacy that bucket, that granny story, that auntie, that mom that sacrificed. She's now only impacted her generation, but strangers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what living a life of success is. That's what living a life of significance is about, is knowing without knowing that you're having an impact in the world.
Wow. And that's what we're talking about today, living fully into your passion, doing the things that really can pay forward, that you can impact. Do you know that yesterday evening, I was to do an interview, and for the time just came up so quickly, I couldn't imagine. And I had her as a guest on my show some months ago. And she was just so impressed with me. She said, Corinne, I need to interview you. I want you on my show. I said, okay, but we just couldn't fix a time because I was just so, busy leading up. And so it was supposed to be yesterday evening. And she said to me, Corinne, you inspired me to do this, for her to start her own show as well. I'm like, girl, what you saying? I said, how so? I'm just curious. How did I inspire you? She said, you just pushed me to do this. I did not know this, Eric. I did not. So I am having an impact on people without me even being aware, just like what you're saying. And I know I do that. And coming back even to what I was saying about myself, my personal story about the toxic people in my life. I know, let me tell you straight up, and I want them to listen to this because I know they're listening to this because they stalk me. They stalk me. They cannot let go of me. Let me tell you, they cannot let go of me. That energy, smile, personality, they cannot let go of me. They're always thinking of me, and I want them to hear this. There is nothing they can do to take away this from me. This is me. Yeah. It's in my DNA, it's in my cells, it's in my divine. They cannot take it away. And whatever I do is to give to people. And even no matter how toxic they are, I do not, and they know I don't run from them. One recently said to me, he knew my energy, and he started to tell me about myself. And he says, Corinne, you're a perfectionist, which is true. You don't run away from things. And it is true. I run into things. I don't run. I don't run away. I run into things. And so when I know they are listening to this, I want them to know that no matter how toxic they are, and any of the others that may be coming my way, no matter how toxic they are, and this is for all other women too and men, for them to know that I know I'm going to have an impact on their life just because of the way I am. Just because of the way I am, the person that I am, the positive energy that I am, that it will show them this. This is why they come to me, because they want what I have. They want that life. They want that joy, that happiness, that natural joy and happiness that they are missing, which is why they mirror me. And I end up like the readings and the articles and the video says, I end up falling in love with myself without even realizing that I'm actually falling in love with me. What I'm looking for in the other person is actually a mirror of me.
Very good. Very good. And what I would say is to you and to the other women who are listening, go ahead and put your gate up and then hang a sign. There used to be a song some time ago here in the States, No Scruggs.
No, I don't know that one.
It's a slang term for, the guy that has his pants hanging down and no job and he thinks he's a player. That you see.
I've seen it, right.
So just put a sign, not welcomed here. Keep on walking past.
Keep on walking.
Close that gate. You're welcome to look over the gate at people that pass by. That does not mean you have to open the gate and let them into your sacred place. True. It's okay to offer, and your granny had done it many times, offer advice over the fence. She didn't say, come in here and sit on my kitchen table. She said, I'll talk to you over my fence. In the U.S., we have an expression called fence neighbors, which means that about as close as we are as the fence, we share a fence and we talk over it, but we've never been inside each other's homes.
Yeah. I'm going to cut you there. As you're talking, an image came back to me. You probably know this show with this guy with the fence, and all you could have seen was his eyes. What with that the home I can't remember the
Home
name.
Improvement or something
Home
else.
Improvement. And you're like, who the hell is that man over the fence? He's talking to the guy, and you're like, who the hell? All you're seeing is the hat and the eyes. You hear a voice and
But did you notice he was able to give advice and wisdom through the fence?
of course.
That the other man didn't have to walk in, get all up in his business, get inside
No.
his house, get inside the personal space. It's like, you know what? Here's my boundary. I love and I respect and I care about your family on the other side of the fence, but let's just do this through the fence until you've earned my trust,
Yes.
my faith, my confidence, and you have stood the test of time. Then I'll open the gate and let you in. But we're so quick to open the gate and let people into our lives and into our story.
That is,
and they have not proven themselves.
That is it, and that's me. That's me. I am such an open book, and I'm so trusting. I'm so trusting. Because I don't think of people as they're coming to do me harm, that they're wicked. I don't think. I say you have to prove yourself to me, that you have to really show me that for me to really put up the gate. But no.
But I would say you're very mistrusting. Because
really?
You're not trusting yourself and your intuition and your value.
True.
And
True.
so you don't trust you and who you are alone in a room by yourself. And so you run around seeking other people.
Yeah.
And then you give yourself this permission, like, well, I was so trusting, that's why it happened. It's like, no, it's because you didn't trust yourself. You didn't believe in you. You didn't believe in your intuition, your gift, your value, your divineness. That this person got into your world. So start believing in you, start trusting you, start visualizing who you are standing next to, and know that that vision, that image that's in your head and that fills your heart is going to show up, and trust that's going to happen, instead of going and picking and choosing men, thinking, well, maybe this one's close and maybe that one's near and maybe this one's wearing a mask, and as soon as I peel away the mask, he'll be the man that I want.
Yeah.
That's foolish.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I wasn't thinking about me mistrusting, because we think, hey, I trust myself. I know me. But you really don't know yourself. And
no.
Yeah, you really don't. And it's not like an overnight thing where you go to school, you sit in a class for a couple of months or years, and you're like, I know myself now. I got a certificate. I know myself. It doesn't work like that, people. And especially when you are confronted and
Bless us.
bombarded by the media, the brainwashing you have had over the years from birth until now, society, school, all of that, which has really messed up your mind and life, that now in your 40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, you're like, shit, I have to unbrainwash myself. I have to unlearn all of these things. What the hell has people, what have people done to me? What? And that can only happen. That can only happen when you suddenly become aware, when you take a few steps back and you start questioning. No, I'm a questioning being. So for all my life, I've been questioning. I've been the rebel. I'm the one, the child in the home that has always given trouble. Let me tell you, my mother.
I can tell.
Up to this day, I still give trouble. And she's like, and she's like, I need to just step away from you. And I step away from her. Yeah, I step away from her because I put my boundaries. I'm like, you just need to stay away from me. The further you stay away from me, the better is our relationship. Yeah, you need to just stay away. So,
and I want to sort of let people that are listening in that don't necessarily have your spirit from birth, that you can learn to do it. You can develop that skill. You can master that skill. And in the process, it's going to be challenging. It's going to be rough. You're going to have family members. Who does she think she is? She listened to a radio show and suddenly she's Miss Wisdom. She read a book. She went to an event. She thinks you're going to have those people because they need you to stay in place so their story stays in place.
Yeah.
So as you begin to change your story, you're changing the story of everybody around you, and nobody else wants it. So they're going to try and put you back in. So the more resistance, the more pushback, the more against, that should confirm and affirm that, wait a minute, what I'm becoming is got to be right, because they wouldn't
Yes,
be fighting against it.
that's right. And that is exactly what I'm getting. Loads of resistance, loads. And I'm super excited by the resistance. I'm like, yes.
So, and the resistance comes in two ways. There are people pushing you back into where you belong,
Yeah,
or people holding on because they want to go where you're going. And it's
yeah,
like walking up a hill with 5 people holding on to your shirt.
yeah, yeah,
Feel
yeah,
that deep energy. Trust the resistance, believe in the
yeah.
resistance, weather the resistance. Because you and I both know that once you get past a certain point, it's like the rubber band snaps and there's no more resistance.
Yeah, and that's what
And
I'm
you're
waiting on.
broken free.
I'm waiting for that rubber band to snap. I am just so looking forward for that rubber band to snap.
And
And
I think it's really important that you said, you know, it's going to happen. You
yeah,
know, at some point it's going to
yes,
snap. And we
yes,
all know it's going to snap. We just don't
yeah,
know when. It's
yeah.
like blowing up a balloon. At some point it's going to pop. We
It's
just
gonna
don't
pop.
know when.
I am so super excited. I am looking forward for that rubber band to snap. And I'm like, I am just excited. I just can't wait. And I know I'm impacting people even within the home. And those are the ones who are, let me tell you what they're doing. I think they realize I can't change Corinne. They get mad. They try to whip me back into action, and I'm like ignoring them. You know, it's not working. And there are some people on the outside who see who I am, and they're holding on. They're attaching themselves to me. They're holding on. So it's I'm observing who is holding on, who is letting go, who is fighting me down, and I'm just playing out the movie. I'm just sitting back with my popcorn, hot dog, and drink, and I'm just watching the movie.
That's it. And look at those people that are holding on. It's like, why are they staying near me? What
Yeah,
is it that they see in the journey that they want to be a part of?
yeah, yeah,
And then the ones that are holding back, how am I disrupting their story?
yeah.
Because
And I'm
if I
not.
become a strong and independent woman, what does that say about my mother who thought it was never possible to be strong and independent? Or
Yeah,
if I'm able to live a creative, artistic lifestyle and not follow the norm, what does it say about the people that gave up on that dream? And that's, so if they can stop my dream, then their dream would have never happened. So that's okay. Now I get where they're coming from.
yeah, yeah. I just, some people are just, that whole ego thing. I still have the chatter that goes on in my head, Eric. Oh my God, I think that's one of the worst things. I'm trying to kill the ego. And I know it serves a little purpose, but really, I'm trying to tame that ego. The other night,
So
I've
here's
had
a
that chatter,
visualization for that. So when you start to hear that drunk monkey, that crazy monkey on
the
your
monkey
shoulder,
chatter.
I
Yes,
just go like, I literally will visually or physically go like this, like I'm wiping it out of my brain.
yeah,
And I just reach out and I drop it in the basket. And the
right.
reason I visualize drop it in the basket is it's there if I need it. I know how to find it. I can pick it back up out of the basket and put it in. But
Mhm.
for right now, I can't have that. And
Yeah,
I'm just put it over there. If I try and do this, be gone from me, then
yeah.
I have this feeling of loss and we don't want to be lost. So we're going to hang on to it in some magical, mystical way. But if
Mm-hmm.
I know that I put it someplace that I can reclaim it if I need it,
Yeah,
then I can let it go more easily. And we do that with our desks. We put things in files so we know
yeah,
where to find
yeah,
them.
yeah,
File that drunk monkey, that crazy ape away, and
yeah,
say, if I need you, if I need your caution, if I need your insecurity, if I need your doubts, I'll come and get you. But for right now, I'm good. Thank you.
yeah.
Because that voice is really that primeval voice that's there to protect us from hurting ourselves. It doesn't mean to be mean and it doesn't mean to be negative. It just wants to keep us safe. But we've evolved past that part of our brain, and we need to be able to say, you know what, I'm safe, I'm okay. I
Mm.
hear you, drunk monkey. I know I could get hurt. I know this could be scary. I know people could laugh, but I'm okay with that outcome. Go
Yeah,
sit in the basket.
yeah. I watch them like as I said, doing this whole spiritual journey like clouds. I sit back and I watch them like clouds. Like I'm lying on the grass and I watch all those thoughts, the conversations just fly by. And I'm like, yeah, because I love looking at the clouds, the shape of the clouds. That makes me feel nice. And so after a while, all the anxiety, whatever emotions that may be happening inside, it goes. And I'm like, wow, this is really a wonderful thing. So I let it go and I don't resist. My thing right now is a number of things. Don't fight it. Whatever you're feeling, don't fight. Just leave it, let it go, accept. Yeah, I'm feeling this. Sometimes I talk to it and I'm like, I'm feeling anger right now. What is going on with me? What is going on? Why am I feeling this anger? I would have that, sort of conversation. What it is that's triggering that. Is it something life or death? No. Is it going to kill me? No. Okay, forget you. You need to move on, kind of thing. And I'm doing that sort of work on myself. And like I said before, this is not something where you could go to a class, get a certificate, and you're like, yes, I know me now. It's a continuous journey till you die. Yes. But it is a fabulous journey. It is amazing the amount of things I'm learning about me. And one of the scary things that I haven't done yet, you see, just like how you said to me, I think before we started recording, is that you're going to help me to go to the beach. I live on an island, for Christ's sake. And I lived on 2 islands. I'm in the Caribbean. I could hop and skip to an island to an island. And the beach is right, well, I shouldn't say right, let me not say that. It's near me. And I could get to a beach in any direction because I'm on an island. And I don't. And there are people who come here from overseas dying, running to the beach. I know, right? I know. The first thing on their mind, drop their suitcase, get to the beach. And I'm not doing that. I'm not dropping my suitcase and running to the beach because what? I live on an island. It's right there. And you said to me, I'm going to make sure, Corinne, that you go to the beach even if it's once a month. And I need to start. I say all of that because I need to start dating myself. The whole thing about
lovely statement.
Yes, dating myself, because all that is part of you being dependent and codependent on somebody to be with you every time, to make you feel whole, to make you feel happy, to enjoy a moment. I want to go to a restaurant. I was saying to a friend last night, I said, I'm going to go to a restaurant and, make a reservation for one and just sit down there and have a lovely meal and just take it in and enjoy everything I'm eating and drinking. Go to the movies. Last night I posted some movies on my Facebook wall, and I'm like, hey, and even though I said, who's going to join me? I was like, Corinne, why am I saying who's going to join me? I should say I'm going to the damn movie alone. But, I just threw it out there for anybody who wanted to just go to the movies. But I posted some movies that I really want to go and watch. And I'm going to go and sit down, get my popcorn, hot dog, and drink, and sit down and by myself and watch the movie.
And I think it's important because I had a conversation with a coaching client the other day. And I said, when was the last time you did something for yourself? And she said, well, I went to get my hair done. I said, okay, was that for you? And she said, well, actually, when she realized it was because she's a professional and she has to maintain a particular look. And it was, and I said, okay, so that really wasn't for you. And she said, no. And I said, well, what about, and she went through like 4 or 5 things that she thought she was doing for herself, which were really things that she was doing for her husband, doing for her career, doing for her children, doing for her doctor, whatever it was. And I said, when was the last time you totally rolled around in the mud just for you? Like just went crazy, dug your toes in the sand and said, I don't care who's jealous. This is for me.
Yeah.
And so often women are much more victims of this.
I know.
They run around thinking that they're doing things for themselves when they're really maintaining their health so they can take better care of the kids.
Yeah, it's for everybody else.
Yes. And so getting to the beach and digging your toes in the sand and ordering a big drink and, whatever it is.
Yeah.
If nobody benefits from it, then that belongs to you.
I love that. If nobody benefits from it. I love that. If nobody because we're always doing things that somebody benefits.
And it's not selfish, because when you love and honor and celebrate you and you just jump up and say, I love me. And there's a really good song that I love. And she's actually a very large girl in size. And she talks about loving herself. When you can do that, then those men that you talk about are going to be like, I can't go near her. She loved herself too much. I can't compete with the love that she has for herself because I ain't got that kind of love for me, so I can't be in the room with somebody like that.
Yeah.
They walk on by.
Yeah, walk on by.
They walk another song.
Another song.
The more that you can love you, the more that you can celebrate you, the more that you can dance in you, trust me. Yeah. The universe is like, man, I want to be around her, and I got the stuff to show up next to her because I love myself just as much, and we're going to have a love contest going on here.
That's what I'm looking for. And I want to come back to that thing about, you know, when I'm in a room, because one of those toxic persons said to me, all the men, all the guys, their hands were all over you. All the attention was on you. You know, and I was like, you had the time to notice that? I'm like, I didn't even realize, because these are people who are my friends. I was in a function. We were all in a function. So he was like, you know, everybody was all over you. I was like, really? I never noticed, because I was dancing with this one, having fun. I was just, you know, all over the place. I'm a social butterfly, you know, and having fun. So I'm not paying attention to that. But clearly, he was paying attention to that. So I was like, wait, is this jealousy coming in here? I'm like, what is going on? You know?
I mean, if you're walking down the street, so to speak, and it's evening and you go past one nightclub and they're playing sad funeral kind of music, and you go past another one and they're playing jazz or dance or whatever the island music is, you're going to be drawn into the one that has life and energy,
of course,
because you need that in your life. So when you see those men, the closer and the faster they come to you, as if they have no boundaries, it's because your magic, your light, your energy is so attractive that they're passing by all of those other doors to get to you. Yeah. And they're not willing to pay the cover charge.
That is the damn thing, Eric. They don't want to pay a damn thing. They just want to come in, take what they can get, and move on. And then when I pick up on that, and I was like, halt, screech, tires are screeching. I'm like, no. I am no. This is where it stops.
But you have a responsibility to post the cover charge outside the building, outside the door, outside the gate.
True.
Like, look,
True. It's my responsibility. Yeah.
I left the door open, so look what came walking in.
No.
Right? You know what? You know, I've been to the islands. So you leave the door open, you might have pigs at the kitchen table. You don't know. They come wandering in. You know, you don't leave the door open. You don't forget to post the sign saying, look, this is the woman that I am.
Yeah.
I would love to spend time with you. Here's my phone number. Schedule it.
Yeah.
My mother used to say, I have older sisters, and a boyfriend would pull up and honk the horn in the driveway, and my sister would start to go running down the steps to go to him.
Really?
No. My mother would lay herself across the door and like, this door is opening. And my sister would be like screaming and like, he's gonna leave. You know, you could see the teenage drama. And my mother was like, if he can't get up and out of this car to knock on the door and ask for you to come out, what's it gonna look like when life gets hard? And my sister's like 16, 18. She's like, Mom, life is never gonna get hard. But my mother knew that if she had set herself up and learned that pattern to answer the honking door or honking car thing, that was the quality of men she was going to have for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
Because of that, my sister, the one in the example, has now been married for, 30 plus years with the same man, one marriage, one thing. And they have been through some really major trials and triumphs together. And when you see them, they are so complete as individuals, but so complete as a couple that it's a celebration of each other and their love, that it's like, okay, you know what? That didn't start when you met him. That started when Mom said, no, you can't go out to that boy's car because he's just honking the driveway. So women, if you're not posting the cover charge, if you're not closing the door, if you're running out after somebody because they honked the car and you're trying to be nice, keep on living what you got, because it's not going to change. But the minute you stop answering that call, either they drive off and find the next one, which truly you didn't want, or they start to grow up and get into what they're supposed to get into, the man that you want them to be, not to become, but they start to become the man that you're ready to receive.
Yeah, yeah. And some of us, like, with your sister example, you're scared that he leaves. And that says a lot about her. And if he does, because there are some guys that are so brazen, they would be like, oh, shit you, I don't need this. I have plenty other girls that will run out to come out and meet me.
Which should signal to you, and unfortunately I'm not picking on women, but since you guys pick on us, we get to pick back. Which should signal to you that he never saw you.
Yeah.
If he's willing to trade you in for the next girl that can pick up, answer the honking car in the driveway thing, it wasn't about you. It was just about him.
Yeah. But
really, that's the relationship you want to begin with?
Yeah, we take it as something with us, but it is not about us. And coming back also to something that we said earlier about expectations. The guy has an expectation of the woman. It has nothing to do with me. It's him. Mm-hmm. It's him. And he's not even recognizing that it is something that he needs to work on himself. But he's actually not willing to take that responsibility and put it on me, and so shame me, blame me for who or what he is.
And I got to tell women that are listening, you do not have the power to fix me. So often you're like, oh, he's a good man, and I'll just finish fixing him. I'll finish where his mother left off. If only he had somebody that loved him, he wouldn't be that way. True. He's got somebody that loves him, himself, and hopefully the divine.
Yeah.
You cannot fix what is broken unless they're willing to show up and admit that it's broken. And so often women come in and they make excuses for the man out of desperation that they're going to be left without. And I think it's really sad that in our culture, at least in the US, there was that booty call and that song, and that it became such a cool, like, yeah, I got a booty call. It's like, do you realize what that says? We are idolizing and magnifying and celebrating a thing called a booty call, which really means that he didn't even care about you. He just cared about what he could get from you. And you're playing into, and it just, the whole dichotomy that it's set up. And yet women are flattered by the fact that they get a booty call. I'm like, how is that flattering? Explain to that.
Yeah, because you see, at least you feel a temporary sense of gratification. He needed me at that point, but you don't know, as soon as you walk through the door, somebody else is coming in. But to some women, that doesn't matter to them. For that 1 hour, 2 hours, however long, one night, he had me, I had him. He got a piece of me, I got a piece of him.
But it wasn't about you. It was about, and I say this, I'm trying to say it delicately, it was about the meat. It wasn't about the you. And that if you hadn't picked up the phone, I apologize, but probably there were 2 or 3 other people on speed dial waiting for the same call.
Of course. Oh my
God. So if you're all about but he needed me, he didn't need you, big Y-O-U.
Mm-hmm.
He just needed somebody like you that would let him take care of himself through you.
Wow, that's sad.
And yet,
that's painful. That's
women are like, call me, booty call, hook up, here's my digits, let's go. Like, so why are you blaming men when you guys are like sending that vibe, that signal, and then you complain that we don't show up as men you want us to show up in marriage when we started this relationship based on booty calls?
Yeah, they don't even have a door in front of the discotheque. There's no door. There's no door. There's no cover charge. There's no bouncer. There's no nothing.
No, and so when we started this, we were talking about living into your purpose, living into your passion, understanding who you are. Ladies, and I say this as a gentleman, y'all are setting us up and making it so easy for us.
Mm-hmm. And even though they're gentlemen, I mean, you're giving something up. Why wouldn't they take it?
Like, we're stupid, but we're not stupid. I mean,
giving something up, you didn't ask for it. Hey, I'll take it. Right?
If there's free food, I'll show up pretty much anywhere. It don't even have to be good cooking. It just got to be free. Quit putting the cookies on the bottom shelf, as my mentor says.
Yeah.
raise your value as you see it. And I was on a radio show the other day, and she actually is a hairdresser or salon stylist, and she said, where does it begin? And I teased and I said, it's in good hair. And she laughed, and I said, but we know when you buy the good hair, invest in the good hair or a good hairdo, you're investing in you.
Yeah.
And when you start to invest in you and do it at a higher and higher level with more and more intentionality, then you end up attracting the man that's already finished, because he's been off investing in his good hair and investing in himself. So he arrives a full and complete person that understands that they are always changing and evolving and growing. And they want somebody to share that experience of change and growth with.
Yes. Yeah. Some people just, like you mentioned earlier, they may look at you and see you as a light, because that is what they want. That is what, who doesn't want to, well, I shouldn't say who doesn't want. There are people who want to stay in the dark. But for those who want that type of light, they see you or they see me as light and they move towards that. But some hate that. They're in misery, they're in darkness, especially those toxic people. And they hate to see you have that thing that they want. They hate to see that light. And they
will work hard to put it out.
Yeah, and they see other lights that you attract, other people that are attracted to you, want to be around you, laughing and smiling. And they're eating up themselves inside. And they will do anything to destroy you. They would dangle these nice little shiny objects, get you into their lair, because you're so trusting, you're so nice and open. And when you get into their lair, oh my God, they eat you up inside. They eat you up and try to turn you even against yourself.
And in speaking to women, there is always somebody in an abusive relationship, that is probably listening and going, that sounds really good, but you don't understand. I'm not good. I'm not pretty. I'm not smart. I can't get a job. Nobody else will love me except the man that I have. That story. Remember who put that story in you.
Yeah.
It wasn't the divine that put that story in it. It was the man that is trying to keep you in a place so that he can benefit from you. And so he wants to use that story of, you're not big enough, you're not smart enough, you're not talented enough, you're not pretty enough, nobody would want you, you come from the wrong side of the tracks, you're spoiled, if you leave me with 3 kids, what man, whatever.
Don't matter what you do, you could never, ever, that debt is never paid.
Right. And so if you're hearing those things, if you're believing those things, look to who the messenger was and understand it's their fears, their doubts, their insecurities that they're trying to feed into you. Because if you awaken, if you move forward, then they're alone. So they would rather be in company with you broken than alone with you succeeding. So break that. Know that the divine, know that the God, know that your parents, when you were just like breathed into the world, nobody said that to you. No. Somebody said it to you because they needed you to believe it so that they could keep their story alive.
I like how you said that. They prefer to be with you broken than what? Say that again.
They would prefer for you to be with you broken than to be alone and watch you fly.
Wow. Oh my God, you always dropping some nuggets, Eric. I need to stop talking to you.
It's you and your accent that bring out the energy in me. I feel
really? Don't. That is so good for my ego, and I'm going to tame that ego. No.
No, and so I want to stop you there, because I hear that often. When you receive a compliment or somebody pays you a compliment, don't bounce it back. Don't tennis racket back to the other side of the net. Simply say,
Eric, I do that. I do that. Anytime somebody gives me a compliment, I'm like, no.
Because what you have done is, and I call it like the little drummer boy thing, that you have told me my gift of complimenting you, recognizing you, seeing you has no value.
Yes.
And I know that wasn't your intent.
No.
But when you bounce it back across the neck, so to speak, a tennis racket kind of thing, that's what you say. But instead, if you say, you know what, I received that, thank you.
Yeah.
then I know that the gift that I brought to you, the compliment, the praise, the acknowledgement, the awareness was received. I'm like, man, wow, I made an impact in the world today. I made somebody feel better.
Thank you. I've struggled with that. I've struggled with that. And I've kind of.
So understand it's not the gift isn't about you. The gift is about the little drummer boy, that he brought what he could and hoped that it would be received equal to that of kings.
Yes, nice. Simple, but such a significant story. Wow. But it's amazing. Are people really truly living their passion now, Eric? Are people truly, I mean, you're dealing with a number of people. We're observing, we're awakened beings, we're conscious beings. Are people truly living their passion? I would answer that before you answer and say, no, they are not. The type of society we're living in, people feel that they always have to try and meet other people's expectation because what would other people think? They have a lot of fears that they don't realize are coming from fear. They don't know themselves. And of course, if you ask somebody, who are you? They will say, of course I know who I am. And they start with their name. My name is.
That's why my bio was so short. But what I would say, and I want to say that when you ask, is everybody living their passion? I think we have to take the pressure off, and it doesn't have to be 24/7, 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365, 10 years in a row. Yeah. I think part of living life successfully, or living a life of success, is living each moment to its highest potential of being in passion. So if I'm out picking up the dog poop in the backyard, that's not my passion. Mm-hmm. And so you would say, oh, he's not living his passion. But the fact that I have the freedom in the day to go out and do that, or to have it, like, if there's some moment that I can connect to and go, I'm a blessed man, I'm walking down this backyard, then okay. But it doesn't have to be this big and glorious and monstrous, like, award-winning TV show that I'm living every moment in order for me to be living my passion. Because my passion is to become the best person that I can in each and every moment.
Yeah. I've been reading the book Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. Yes,
The Power of Now or The New World.
Yes, no, The Power of Now. The Power of Now. Everything is about now. And I used to keep telling people I live in the present moment. Even before reading Eckhart's book, the present, right now is what matters. I really don't business about anything else. It's right now. I'm just here. And I remember there are many times I've been out and I'm aware that I'm just here now. Nothing else exists. And it's amazing after listening to Eckhart, because I do both the videos and the book at the same time. And I'm like, wow.
It's an amazing awareness, because, and Eckhart teaches it better. That's why it's on the best-selling list forever. Yes. But God only exists in the now. That God doesn't have a Rolodex, that he keeps track of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. He only exists in the now. And yet we run around trying to find him in our past, trying to find him in our future, trying to schedule him in our calendar. Yeah. And he's like, that doesn't make sense. God don't comprehend what you mean by 3 o'clock, because that doesn't exist.
That doesn't exist.
Everything is now.
Time doesn't exist. Yeah.
So if I want to step into the presence of God or the divine or the perfect or the universe or whatever your faith calls it, then the only place that I can meet that is in the now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the longer I can stay in the now, the longer I can stay in the now, the more that I can be present with the perfect.
Yes. That mind shift, that was one of the first videos. I think it was he was talking to Oprah. I don't know. I tell you, this journey, I'm telling you, Eric, if I were to tell you off air how I ended up on this journey, I cannot explain. I was moved from one to, and I don't know how I got here, but I'm being led. That is all I could tell you. I'm being led, and I'm just following it. But that video,
and I would say that you're being pulled,
yes,
from your heart.
Yes.
And that there's this string between you in your destiny that is being pulled like a yo-yo slowly forward. And as long as you listen into that, you're good.
Yeah. But I heard him explain no. And I'm like, what do you mean there's no past and no future? What do you mean? What do you mean there's no past and no future? And he said, okay, we're here now. And at the moment, let's say a point in time last year, it was now as well. At that point, it was also now. Next year, at the same time, you would be saying no. So,
Well, and I think Einstein says it in that time is a series of events, not a clock. Something to the effect.
Yes, I remember that.
When I would ask you, what were you doing on September 6th, 2004? You might be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because that calendar, that time, that space has no relevance. But if I say, tell me about when you first discovered something, you know, your love of abstract art, you could so passionately and completely teach me about that.
Yes.
Because the event is what's relevant. The calendar around it has no significance. But yet sometimes we put our events inside the calendar as frame holders.
Yeah.
And so if we start to experience life outside of those frame holders, calendars, events, clocks, and just as experiences, and step into the experience, then we're living in the present.
Yeah. Yeah. They always talk about creating memories, which is why memories are so important. You know, you go somewhere, you know, just like how we talk about we need to go on the beach. That will be like something. I mean, I might
memories are the touchstone for our spirit.
Yes.
And they can be both good and bad, and we collect both. And if we can intentionally collect more good memories for our spirit, our soul, our energy to hold on to, that when we need them, we can pull into them.
Yes.
That's a thumbs up life.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I'm looking. I'm not even looking. That's what I do. Anything that involves joy, happiness, and fun, I'm all there.
And now you got to add joy, happiness, fun, and the beach.
Okay. Joy, happiness, fun, and the beach. That is super awesome. But for you, coming back to the question about if you think people are living their passion, are they in your estimation truly living their passion? And what one thing you would tell them to do right now to get them started on that journey?
That's a big one.
I always give you big questions.
I may have to fly to the islands to answer that.
Oh, I'm waiting. I'll hold the show. I'll put it on pause.
I think we all live the awareness of what we think our passion is right now. And as we become more aware of what our passion is, the more often we can live it. So what I mean by that is, right now, I may only have this big of a vision, and for those on radio, a very small vision of what I think my passion is. But the more that I can get in and dance with it and sing with it and twist it and turn it, the more I understand it, the bigger my passion appears to me, so I can find it more easily in the day-to-day life. And so my passion is to be of service to people. Well, am I living it right now? Well, maybe not. But what does that look like? And understand what that feels like. And where's my energy when I'm doing. And the more I know what my passion is, the easier it is for me to find it so I can live it more often. So had you met me 10 years ago, my voice and my thinking wouldn't have sounded like this, because I hadn't spent enough time in my passion to know what it was.
Wow.
It's like being in a marriage. Who you are at the first year versus the 10th year versus the 25th year, if it's done right, is always growing and connecting. And I love watching couples that have been together for 25 years still laugh at each other's jokes.
Yeah.
Because they're discovering something new about this person they've been with for 50 years.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's living.
Yeah. Wow. It's a fabulous journey. It's a lonely journey. It can be pretty lonely because you realize that you have to shed, you have to let go. It requires releasing, it requires letting go.
It has to be a lonely journey, though. And by lonely, that doesn't mean you're alone.
Yeah.
It means that it is solely your journey.
Yeah. Yeah. It's lonely, and especially when, like I said, you realize you have to let go, you have to love people at a distance, because there are people that you may fall in love with, that you would want to be with, that you see potential with, and you just can't, because you know what they are, who they are, and they're just not healthy for you, especially those toxic relationships. And it's hard to be in love with somebody, you see that you can be with somebody, and it's like, God, I can't, I can't allow myself, I can't, I just can't. And who am I really to go against the divine, to go against me and hurt myself, put myself in that situation? So it is a lonely road. But at the end and even during, you learn so much of yourself to strengthen, and it calls you to trust and have faith, a lot of trust and faith.
Very much. And I would say be careful, because even if you found the perfect man tomorrow, like if he just fell from the clouds
And that's
and
the only way he
you
would
could
be
see the
perfect.
angel sitting on his shoulder and the music would be dancing around. Yes, in every way he would be perfect for you. If you fell in love with him today and you ran off to your own little place, you would still end up alone at some point in the journey, because nobody has ever died in the simultaneous moment of their most significant other. So that idea of understanding that even though I'm in a partnership with somebody during this journey, at one point we will be separated. And so I need to continue to grow and love and enjoy being who I am alone, so that when I come into this relationship, I come in ready to give of myself instead of have to receive from the other person.
And that person too must be able to give of themselves, as opposed to having to take from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you guys should be experiencing stuff outside of the individual and into the couple.
And that is where a lot of things go wrong. I mean, we made it full circle back to what we were talking about originally, being whole. And everything feeds into even fully living your passion. Because if you're not whole, and if you're not, if you don't know yourself, you really don't know what your passion is. Everything comes back to right that point. Being whole, knowing who you are. So going on that journey, even though it's lonely, believe and trust and have the faith that you are going to be so much better as an individual, as a being, be a human being than a human doing. A lot of us are human doings, or doing humans. I don't know which one. They're doing humans, or we human doing. But we are certainly not human beings.
I agree. And I often say that some of the best company I have is myself.
Yeah.
That I actually, not always, it took a while, but I kind of enjoy being with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. and that like sometimes supersedes my kids and my spouse. I'm kind of happy just hanging out with me for the day. Like, I don't need you people.
I don't need you people.
And what's funny is when I'm allowed to do that, I'm a much better person to other people.
Yeah. I love the silence. And I noticed that, I love silence. But here in the house, people love noise. And that is where we conflict as well. Corinne, everything bothers you? Yeah.
You need to get some of the noise deafening headphones.
Right? But I have some of those, and they're like, everything bothers you. But then the sensitive being that I am, a lot of things I pick up on. I pick up on, and it's hard for them to understand why I am, they see me as fussy. In their interpretation, in their unconscious state, is that I am fussy, I am this, I am that, as opposed to stepping back and trying to understand. But it's not a matter of being fussy. This is why I would walk. I'll be going shopping, and from the time I enter the beginning of a store, I pick up the vibes in the store, and I'm like, I'm not going in there. I stop at the doorway, and I'm like, I'm not going in there. I'm not supposed to be in that store. This is not.
And I will say, as somebody that does energy work and understands energy, that you have to learn how to shield, and that's
Yeah.
not in a negative way. But I used to say that's not mine to pick up. That's
Yeah.
not my that you know what, I hear what you're saying, or I hear
Yeah.
what you're feeling, or I know what's going on, but that's not mine to be picked up.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I can hear the music doesn't mean I have to dance to it.
Yeah. 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 So some people just don't understand, but I love the silence because I can hear, I can meditate. I can hear the voice. I can feel what it is that I'm supposed to do. The
Yep.
inspiration will come to me. So I am not forcing to do this. If something doesn't happen, like yesterday, a friend said, "Corinne, let's go dancing," because I do Latin dancing, and
Oh.
yes, yeah. And so she said, "Let's go dance," and I said, "Okay," because anything with dancing, I'm ready to go. Half an hour and I'm dressed. And
Half an hour and I'm dressed.
yeah, half
I'm
an
thinking
hour.
5 minutes, I'm out the door, but this doesn't take as much as that
Right,
does.
right. I don't even have to comb my hair or anything. Just shower and I'm on my clothes. And I don't really do makeup, so that's 3 hours out right there. I don't have to do that. So I'm good. I'm always ready. So, and I have clothes that I don't have to iron, so I'm good. I'm just thrown and I'm ready to go. My shoes is always in my dance bag, so it's always ready to go. Throw it on my
Oh,
back and I'm
she's
ready to go.
serious.
And she said to me, "Oh, later when it was time for the pick me up," and she's like, "My feet is hurting, it's swollen and whatever." I was like, "Yeah, no problem, no biggie." And suddenly as she's telling me that, I sense a bit of disappointment, but at the same time, I feel resistance, and I'm like, "Corinne, just go with the resistance. Just go with it. Don't make it a fuss. There must be a reason why." And it will end up working out pretty fine. And I'm like, "So what? I didn't go dancing tonight. There'll be another night. There'll be, whatever." So I'm just saying that to share that the type of person that I am, and I'm sure there are other people out there who are going through what I have gone through and still going through, and they're trying to discover why are these things happening to them. Just go with it, understand. At first, I used to be upset. Why am I feeling, sensing, being so emotional, sensitive? People are saying, "Corinne, you're too sensitive." And last few years, I just heard this voice said, "It's a gift. Accept who you are."
I
And I'm
love
like,
that.
yeah, I'm like, okay. So I went through that acceptance years ago without even knowing what I was accepting or why I was accepting it, but I just had to accept. And so some years ago, I accepted.
Well,
Years,
and
years.
I love that story. I love that story. Plus, I learned a new island expression when it was
Mhm.
time for the pick me up.
Yes, yes.
Like it's a vehicle. Like when it was time for the pick me up, I was like, the pick me up. We would say when it was time for her to pick me up.
Well, that's what I said. The time for her to pick me up. Yeah, the time
Oh,
for
I
her to.
thought I heard that when it was time for the pick me up, and I thought that's a
No,
cute
no. When it was time
expression.
for her to pick me up. Yeah.
I love island expressions because you all have.
Yeah. So some things in every disappointment, there's always something that you can learn, and I'm always looking for the lesson. What is the lesson I can learn from this? What is the divine trying to teach me? So it's about
and
learning.
and it's just, and I don't want people to walk away going, I don't have time for this. I can't go sit on a mountain and wear orange robes and hum
Why
all
not?
day long
Why
like
not?
Corinne
Why
does.
not? Why not?
But on the same level, it doesn't have to be that big. It just
Yeah.
has to be a moment where you're like, you know what? Why am I upset? Oh, because I was looking forward to it. Okay, then go for it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to go for it by myself. Okay, so what is that saying?
Yeah.
Well, I was looking forward to the company of my friend. Okay, now you're not disappointed you're not going dancing. You're disappointed you didn't get to be in the company of your friend. What is it about your friend you love? I love her energy. Is
Yeah.
there another way for you to tap into that tonight? Sit
Yeah.
on the phone and chat. But so often we jump to the first feeling, the first response, without checking in on what it really means. And when we do that, we shortchange the lesson.
Yeah. We don't dig deep. We don't dig deep because I was a bit disappointed, but I think, I was like, oh well, don't resist, just leave it alone. Just leave it alone and just stay home and relax. Because I had a headache earlier in the day, which I still do now, and I'm like, you're meant to just stay in and just relax. And I ended up watching some nice stuff on YouTube and listening to some music and yeah, and doing some Eckhart work and
See?
Yeah, yeah. I always have things to do, but I just had to be in a meditative state. I at nights and on mornings I have to be in a silent state, and I like quiet.
I love my quiet,
Yeah, I
especially
love,
in our house.
yes, yes, I love quiet. Oh my God, Eric, we always have fun and we always end up going over time. What is this? What is this?
I'm the guest, so I get to blame it on you.
Really, really. Hold on.
But I so love when I get to sit and chat with you. I would love to do this like all the time because
Me too, me
your
too.
energy, your enthusiasm, your
Me too.
just you bring out more in me than I know that's there sometimes. And so
Oh,
I want to thank you for always inviting me into your space and
oh.
sharing it. Next time you better do some cooking, girl, because I don't come here for free every time.
I'll cook for you, sweetie. I'll cook for you, sweetie. And we're gonna go on the beach. We're gonna go on the beach. And I hope after we talk all of this with that, we would have even more to talk about when we're on the beach. Sometimes
There we go.
people talk all now, and then when they do meet, there is total silence. They're like, we have nothing else to talk about. I'm
I
like,
had that I had that happen 2 weeks ago. I was traveling and I bumped into a fellow coach and we had known each other through online, and so we were getting ready we had to meet for the first time over dinner, and we went to a very simple sandwich shop because I don't like to be bothered with restaurants when
yeah,
I'm with people because it's just like I don't want to manage the wine list and the
yeah,
six
yeah,
people that
yeah, yeah.
we were at a sandwich shop, and about 5 hours later we said we need to go. Like, that when you're with somebody like you that is growing and learning and exploring and seeing the universe, it's an infinite possibility. So the conversations will follow always.
Yes, that's awesome. You have me smiling from, I mean, ear to ear. My cheeks are hurting. Oh my
Ah,
goodness. Oh my goodness. I look forward to that. That's definitely imprinted on my mind, Eric. Sitting on the,
Trinidad and Tobago or Jamaica.
yeah, anyone. It doesn't even have to be Trinidad or Tobago, Jamaica. It could be any island. It could be Barbados. It could be St. Lucia. It could be anywhere. Once is an island. Yeah. Ah,
So yeah, I used to work for a company that had a house on Water Island. Um, so it was so nice because it was a very small island, very few people, non-commercial. So when you got off the boat onto the island, you could just let everything go.
yeah. Oh, wow.
Yes, I need island living. We'll have to talk to the Chamber of Commerce about getting me to Trinidad and Tobago or
Oh
something.
yeah, don't worry about it. It's gonna happen. I actually joined a team. A friend of mine. I no, I'm not into swimming, even though I'm on an island. But 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 I joined a team. We have a WhatsApp group. He's into
Ah,
sailing. This guy is into sailing, so he's a professional. He has a yacht and they do competitions and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, I'm jumping on that. So I'm part of the group, but I haven't gone onto the boat yet. I just see pure ocean around me in my head, and of course the fear wants to set in. But I'm not going to make that bother me. So he's a professional sailor, but just being a part of the group took me out of one aspect of my comfort zone. Just joining the group, and I'm like, yeah, I always wanted to go out in the ocean sailing, even though I'm not a swimmer, but not yet, working on it. But
well,
that's
you
that's
don't need to swim. You just need to sit and drink cocktails while they sail.
right. That's an
I've been privileged to see the World Cup from both Australia and Uruguay, and so the boat that you be being on is not likely to tip over. So don't worry about the swim.
right. Okay, I'll send you videos from there.
I will look forward to them.
Yes, and when you come, I'm going to introduce you to my group of friends on the sailboat so that we can take you out. Yeah.
I've got to start working on this.
We can take you out and see, even though I haven't gone with them yet. But when you do come, it will give me more motivation to take you there and just because I think they always go out sailing and and the thing is they go from island, and I know a couple of people who are sailors. They go from island to island here, and we don't need
That would
permission.
just be amazing to be able to like, yes, here's my passport. This morning I left Trinidad and Tobago, and today I'm in
We
St.
don't need a
Lucia.
passport. We don't
Oh
need a
yeah, because you're islanders. You guys
yes,
like have this undeclared.
yeah,
Everything is everybody's.
yeah. We don't need a passport. I mean, you need a passport when you're taking the plane, but when you're out at sea, nobody needs a passport really. There's no there's no permission. There's no pass. There's no day pass or night pass or
I
tax.
love
So
it.
Yes, because I asked a friend that, and I'm like, "Don't you going out into territorial waters?" They're like, "What? What?" No, we just sail over to Grenada, and then we come back onto Saint Lucia, and then we go up to wherever. And I'm like, "What?"
That is, I have, you have just planted my, that would be so, I mean,
Yeah,
okay, I'm like so cool that if I could live on an island and then go island hopping over the
yeah,
weekend.
they just do that. I have a friend who just came back from Grenada. He went to Carnival. He took his family there, sailed over to Grenada, went over here, and I'm like, "Don't you need some sort of permission?" No, I just get on
And
my boat.
sleep on the boat and,
Yeah, everything is on the boat. Kitchen, bed, what, everything.
okay, now you've got me daydreaming.
Yay! 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 I danced with one of them. He's the one that went to Grenada and just came back. And they enter competitions too. And he knows the other guy who I'm in the WhatsApp group in, who is more, more established as a sailor. So I'm into some connection with some good guys here. Yeah,
See?
yeah, some good guys. I
I
have
knew there was a reason we had to connect.
Don't you worry. In time, in time, in time. I just need to work on the little body, the sexy body, so I can wear a nice bikini. When
Ah.
I step out on the boat, I can look fine.
I
Extra.
don't think anybody would see that based on your smile and your joy. I think they would look right past it.
They'll look right back.
Sorry.
They're better. They're better. They're better. Oh my God, Eric, it's always a pleasure talking with you. I mean, I don't even feel like I'm on my radio show. This is just like a normal, everyday conversation.
Well, I hope your radio listeners were able to survive the whole conversation. I
Oh
do
my God.
so honor the time that you give me
Yes.
and sitting down for coffee, so to speak, with you on times like this are just day brighteners for me. So thank you, thank you.
Yes, and I should thank you for sharing your wisdom, all those nuggets that you keep
No
dropping on the
worries.
show. Yes, I am so serious. And the thing is, I'm working on my show, expanding it, syndicating it. That's what I'm working on now. So it's going to be going out on more
So I
distribution.
get to go island hopping through the show.
That's right. That's right. and,
I'll
and,
do
glo-
that.
and global hopping through the show. So it's going to be,
See, there we go. We've
yeah,
got like our brand new
yeah.
Lucy Ricky kind of thing.
That's right. So I'm going to be working on getting it on iTunes and iHeartRadio and Google Play and setting up some apps, so that people can download the show and stuff like that. And I'm working on that, really.
I want it for you. You are so worthy and deserving of it. And your message needs to be heard by so many.
Yeah.
So keep on keeping on.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for being on Between the Lines. It's been a pleasure. We need to talk outside of the show. So, hey, feel free to call me anytime. Yeah?
I will. I'll send you a message when we wrap.
Very good. Thank you so much for being on Between the Lines once again. Eric G. Reed.
That's how you find me. Just go out and look for that Eric G. Reed, and I'm somewhere near it.
That's right. And I'm supposed to feature your website.
Just ericgreed.com, ERICGREID.com.
I'm going to pull it up right now. I normally do that. Give me 1 second. Let me just show people.
Or through Facebook, same thing. People, and if you connect with me, and I say this not because I have a big ego, but if you connect, tell me, oh yes, it was through the radio show right Between the Lines that I met you. So that it's a thing you do in natural life when you meet somebody at a dinner party. You tell them where and how you got to know each other. Do me that favor so that I can remember that you were one of my Between the Lines friends.
That's right. That's right.
So let me know that it was Between the Lines that brought us together.
That's right. So here we go. Eric G. Reed, Success Coaching.
Oh, there we go.
Nice. There we go. Is there anything here that you're doing in terms of a giveaway, or people can sign up?
A lot of that is going to come up at the end of September. I'm going through a lot of big projects right now. I just come back from a coaching camp,
Nice.
and so I've really been developing coaching skills. And what I've learned is that there are a lot of people in the coaching space that don't necessarily know the process.
Yeah.
And so I've been thinking I need to do some teaching on that, and 15 laws, and Think and Grow Rich, and the power of now. There's just a lot of things coming at me that I haven't quite finished figuring out what it needs to look like.
Yeah. Yeah. And define yourself in the space, because there's so many people doing coaching,
I love the coaching process, and
Yes.
you can tell from our radio show that It's where my heart is. And so I don't necessarily need to, I think people find me more than me needing to find them.
Fabulous. And so people can schedule a call today. Is this something that is?
It's a link. It'll just send me a note saying book a call. And so we'll be good.
Very good. Online masterclass series available. Take action now to live your success.
So up on that, if you went to the top of the webpage, you would see Success Life You. If you go over to that, there's some free classes, Success Life You.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll take you to my secondary website, which has both some free classes and paid classes if you're interested. So if you go down, you should see some additional classes and training. Some of them are up there as free. Like the 7 days, the classes that I really like, thank you for showing that. The 7-day and the 11-day and the Discover You are all free programs.
Nice.
I love the 11-day journey of awareness. It very much matches Eckhart Tolle's. Discover You is really about discovering your purpose and your passion and your dreams and your desires. 7-day mindset reset is about really getting your mind reset, refocused, reprogrammed into awakening and awareness.
You know what I'm doing now? I am hooked into David Hoffmeister.
Okay.
Yes, you know David with A Course in Miracles. That's what I'm doing now. I'm on day 3, and he's actually, just today I got day 3 and in my inbox, and he's going to be showing the movie August Rush.
Great book.
Yeah, I saw the movie because I said that movie, when I watch movies, I don't forget them. I said that name sounds familiar. So I went on YouTube and looked at the trailer and realized I did watch a movie, fantastic movie with Robin Williams and Terrence Howard. And but he's using movies to be able to show you how you can sit back and look at your life, you know, and just observe your emotions as you go through the movie. That is something that takes a lot of work, because just saying it and trying to explain it is difficult, and for your mind and your brain to try to understand that is difficult.
Very.
It's difficult, you know.
The 11-day journey of awareness, what I love about when I did that class is there is a meditation that takes about 11 minutes, 12 minutes.
Nice.
And so if you do, and it's the same meditation every day. So you just play it, listen to it, and it talks about, and then there's a lesson and a quote for each day. And so it really brings us into that mindfulness. So if you're somebody that's like, oh, I wish I understood what meditation, or how do I start this thinking, or what is the process? If I told you you had to meditate for 2 hours, unless you're sitting on the beach watching the waves, it would be difficult. And so that 11 and a half minute meditation is a really nice way of setting time aside for silence and reflection.
Nice. I'm going to sign up for all of those. So look out for my name in that.
I'll be seeing it. And again, if you're somebody, just go there, click on them. Your goals, your life of success, Think and Grow Rich. All of these are classes that I've either taught or are always in rotation of teaching. The Design Your Life of Success is really a very massive coaching program for 12 months. We go through 4 areas of your life one-on-one.
Nice.
It's a very, if at the end of 12 months you're not standing up, then because we don't play. We don't play.
Well, look here, with your life, you get it one time.
That's
one time
it.
You're not supposed to play.
And that's why it's clearly, when I say it's a 12-month plan, people are like, really? And I'm like, you really want to fix 40-some years of misbehavior in less than 3 weeks? Come on, really? I can't do that.
I don't even know if it can be done in a year, but a year is a start.
A year is, if you went into a fitness program that was fully committed to investing in growing you for a year, I'm sure you'd lose a little weight.
Oh, just a little. Just a little. But you have to really be consistent. You have to be consistent. Yep. You have to be driven.
And that's the design of that program.
Yeah, nice. You have some really nice programs here. Pretty good.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. But for people to get a taste of what you're into, I would suggest they get started with these 3 to get a feel for you.
I would say do the 11 and then do the 11, then do the discover you, and then you can always do the 7. But the 11 really starts to make you awaken to who you are and what your value is. And then the discover you is about learning to write your purpose, your passion, your life statement. And so you can start there, but I love the 11. I may have to go back and do it again just for me.
And I like how you said that, because people feel when they do something, you know, that is transformational and transmuting, that they stop. Oh, I've achieved it, and they stop. You have to keep doing it over and over and over and over.
Yeah, the meditation that's in that series, I do twice a week, probably. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Different meditations, different times are called into. So there may be a time when I'll just do that single meditation for the entire month. And then I may move on to something else because that's what I need. And then I may come back to it. So it's always been sort of like that baseline, you know, get out and do 30 minutes of exercise if you can't do anything else. The 11 minutes has always been, that 11-day meditation has always been my, if I can't do anything else, do this.
And it's good to do these things, you know, over a certain period of time. It takes, what, 21 days to kind of form a habit if you're consistent. You know, so do it over and over. Do a second 11, a second 11, another, you know, just keep doing it over. Yeah. Again, thank you so much for sharing that, Eric. I'm giving you a virtual hug.
Oh, felt good.
Yeah. I'm giving you a virtual hug. Oh my God, it's been a pleasure. It's an honor. You have me smiling for the rest of the day, of course. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear.